Hey ninjas, being a kid was the hardest years of my life and some of the darkest years of my life. I had a lot of trauma. 7 years old was this crazy year for me. I learned how to swim, I learned how to ride a bike, I almost drowned twice. I had some other crazy experiences. I had at least three-wheeler accidents where I went like flying over the three-wheeler and tipped three-wheeler and got trapped underneath a three-wheeler. I was in a motorcycle accident with my dad. It was a crazy year. There was so much that happened when I was 7. Probably the craziest thing that happened was I found out I was pregnant. Well, so I thought. I thought I was pregnant, which is almost as bad as being pregnant in terms of the psychological implications it can have, especially on a 7-year-old child that doesn't really quite understand what that even means. So this is the story of how I came to think I was pregnant at 7 years old and how I got through that experience. So my mom is a first-generation Chinese immigrant. English is not her native tongue. So there was naturally a lot of language barriers. And she tried to explain to me the process of what happens to your body. When I was 7, I started experiencing sort of the precursors of what happens before you have your period. And I didn't get my period till I was 11, which is normal. But the years leading up to that, every once in a while, I'd have something that showed that I would one day have that. So, and you guys, not to get into too much details, but basically it's called discharge. And and it's this weird mucusy stuff that ends up in your underwear every once in a while. And my mom was doing laundry and she saw like a stain on my underwear and she approached me about it. She's like, Ellie. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you have something come out of your vagina? Do you have something? And I was like, what do you mean? Like pee? And she's like, no, it's like a kinda like a mucus type thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she knows. And I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I didn't know what it was. And I was embarrassed. But I was kind of relieved that she knew that that can happen. So I was like, yeah, it happens once in a while. And she goes, it's so bad. Oh no. Oh no. And so I'm like freaking out and like wondering what's going on, what's happening. And she's like, you know what this means? And I'm like, no, Mom, I don't know what this means. And she goes, so it means you are going to have blood come out. Blood is going to come out of your vagina. It's going to come. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. And it's, you get this, you have a uterus and you have eggs inside you and they release and they go down this flamingo tube or something. I don't know how to say. And then it gets something fertilization happens and then you can have a baby. And so I lost my mind. All I heard in that entire conversation was that I was going to have a baby and that I was pregnant. And I was 7 and I was not ready to have a baby. And so I thought, oh my gosh, like, so you're telling me this stuff that's coming out of my vagina in my underwear means I'm going to have a baby. And for 2 years, from age 7 to 9, I thought I was pregnant because all I heard was I was having a baby. And so I was so embarrassed and I felt ashamed. I didn't want to tell my friends. I was like, no one can ever know that I am having a baby. No one can know. And I just kept quiet. And then every time I'd take a shower and undress, I would like look at my stomach and I like just like look at it, and see if it was, I'm like, is it coming yet? I don't see it yet. And then once in a while I'd be like, trying to like hit my belly and be like, get out of here. And then I'd like pinch it, like I'd go, pinch it, be like, get out of me. You don't belong there. And so I would try to like make the baby go away by like hitting my stomach. And when I turned 8, I thought, well, maybe it takes a really long time for the baby to come. Maybe that's why only like older girls have babies. And so it's just growing there. And it's just gonna take a really long time. And by the time the baby's ready to come out, I'll be ready too. So then I started to deal with that, a little better. I wasn't so freaked out because it had been a year now and the baby hadn't come. So I was just waiting. And then when I turned 9, a nurse visited our school. So this is where public school does win. Is sometimes children at home don't get all the information they need, especially if their parents are immigrants and English is not their native tongue and there's natural language barriers. And so this nurse came and she explained to us about the process of becoming a young woman and how that process was a beautiful process. And she explained all these things about the changing body, the woman's body, and how it was something to be appreciative of and proud of, that we're like this amazing being, that we have the ability to create life, and we have the ability to make choices for and behalf of our bodies. And she just like really put it together in a way that was a really nice presentation. And I was like, man, my mom tried to explain all this stuff to me, and that is not how she said it. All I heard in that whole conversation was that I was going to have a baby, and so I was very confused. So even though she was giving me facts and information, I was not able to interpret it in the way I was able to interpret it now that I was getting that information from a nurse. So age 9 was an awesome year. I had this like wash of relief. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not pregnant. I am not having a baby, and I don't have to have a baby until I want to, which is such a great thing. That is the story that I'm going to share for today. I know some of it was probably TMI. I'm sure there's somebody out there that needed to hear this story. All right, so I'm signing off. I'll see you guys next time.